When everybody's special, no one is. So after a couple of little teasers, mostly just sort of showing off Jack, couple of jokes, we get a proper trailer for The Incredibles 2, which is a movie I know a lot of people are really looking forward for. And this is a movie that I left it off my most anticipated movies of 2018 list, not because I think it'll be bad, but I'm kind of skeptical. The Incredibles doesn't need a sequel. It did exactly what it needed to do. Now, that doesn't mean anything. There are plenty of movies that didn't need sequels and still got pretty good ones, or even great ones in some cases. So that's not an automatic knock against it, but I, for one, wasn't aching for a new Incredibles movie, as much as I love the original. And having seen this trailer, I'm a little bit nervous, if I'm gonna be honest. And I know that it's going to result in a whole bunch of people, because everybody loves Pixar and it's somehow against the law to question them. But so many people are gonna tell me, stop being a buzzkill, wait for the movie. Look, I'm gonna tell you what I thought of the thing, and what I saw, it made me nervous. And there's stuff that looks good, there's stuff that looks fine, there's stuff that looks great. You know, we've got all this cast back. It was great hearing these voices. I like that it starts right off with the Underminer, because honestly, that seemed kind of fun, and it looks like they're actually gonna do some fun things with that. I'm sure it's just the opening action beat, but still, that works well. They've still got the family dynamic, everybody's got good chemistry going, the animation style is good, the little bits of action we get look great, Edna Mode's back. All of these are good things. Where my concerns are coming in largely has to do with the whole thing of Bob having to stay home with the kids and watch Jack in particular while Helen goes off and does all the superheroing. Now, on the one hand, part of me likes that, because I like the idea of Helen getting, you know, to be more of a firm central hero than she was last time. Not that she really got the short shrift last time, I don't want to imply that, but I'd like her to get a little more time in the sun. That said, at least what is presented in this trailer doesn't look like we're actually going to get that. What it looks like is she leaves and now we focus on Bob not being fully comfortable, A, probably being at home at all and not being in on the action, and then B, taking care of the kids on his own. And there's a couple things that this concerns me about. The first is that I fear that for Bob specifically, it's too close to his arc in the first movie. Because in the first movie, you know, he was all anxious and put off because he couldn't, you know, superhero at all. And now, you know, he was stuck in that job that was unfulfilling. And now he's going to be put off because his wife is off doing it, and instead of being at a job, he's now at home. So, I mean, I'd like to think he likes being at home more than he likes being at that job, but the scenario and the kinds of resentment and strain that's going to put on him, that's potentially going to ring a lot of the same bells that the first one did in terms of him specifically as a character and his journey. And that's going to matter if he is the main central focus again. And I mean, you know, the previous movie was about the family as a whole. I expect this one will be too, but it was mostly about Bob. And if this is also that, well, then it feels repeating. And another thing is that what comes with this is, oh, we're doing Mr. Mom again for the who knows how many hundredth time that this sort of thing has been done in pop culture. Look at the dad who didn't expect to be home alone watching the kid. Try and watch a kid and watch how unprepared he is. Isn't that wacky? Men don't take care of babies. And yes, there's the superhero and the superpowers aspect that puts a little twist on it. Yes, I do understand this is a period piece, and at that time, it actually would be severely out of his comfort zone and against the societal norms of the time way more than it would be the case today. But even with my understanding all of that, that's still a premise and a starting foundation for drama and stress and story that I feel like this feels very tired. This doesn't feel like the next incredible story that demanded to be told. This feels like what they came up with when somebody sat down and said, you know, we really ought to get around to making an Incredibles movie. And Brad Bird, you kind of owe us one because that whole World of Tomorrow thing fell apart so spectacularly. And no, I'm not saying, oh, it's gonna suck. It'll probably be fine. At worst, it'll be fine. It could even be great. I hope it is. I'm probably gonna end up seeing it. I'm just seeing things that for me are causes for concern. They're things that I see them and then I think, boy, if that means what I think it means, that's gonna be something that I potentially might not like. And that's just the impression that I'm left with. And it's not a bad trailer. It's a perfectly fine trailer. But what it shows me and what it lays out is stuff that makes me nervous for this movie in terms of what it's going to deliver, whether it's going to feel like it's truly a new chapter for this family or whether it feels like it's retreading the last one and just mining the best that it can from it. And again, that doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. I mean, that's largely what Finding Dory was, and Finding Dory was pretty good. But at the same time, you know, it does kind of make me think, boy, you could have put all the effort that went into this, you know, the animators, Brad Bird, everybody else, and, you know, do something new. But we'll see. There's plenty of time, you know, and you know, I think if I were to say something that would give me some, I think more solid foundation for me to be optimistic would be if we get later trailers and each of them focuses on one of the other family members about as much as this one focuses on Bob. And then that might tell me, oh, it's not going to be the central focus on him for most of the movie again like it was last time. They just did that for this trailer because he was the lead hero last time, and now here's one focusing on Violet, and here's one focus. Like, if I can get a sense that everybody's going to be equal, even more equal billing than they were last time, that would waylay some of my fears, because right now I'm concerned that I'm not going to particularly care for, or I'm going to feel like Bob's arc is repetitive and something I've seen done before. So now it's a question of how much of the film is that, and that's what I don't really know. And again, even the stuff that I'm skeptical about, maybe it'll work. I'm just telling you what I thought. I have a feeling I'm going to get torn apart for this one. Maybe not. We'll see. In any case, The Incredibles 2, I guess it was the Olympics teaser is what they officially called it. What were your thoughts on it? Whatever they are, drop something down in the comments. Let's talk about it. Do all that stuff. Think about supporting me on Patreon. Follow me on Twitter. I got a podcast. There's links for all that stuff down in the description. So until next time, this council is adjourned.